Hey everyone, and welcome to the HC English Pod, where we make workplace English simple and fun. I'm Sophie.
And I'm Liam. Hey, Sophie. Hey, everyone.
Liam, you're looking energetic today. Did you have your morning coffee already?
Oh, yes. Double shot espresso. I needed it because last night I was practicing my presentation for today's episode.
That's dedication. Speaking of which, I'm really excited about today's topic.
Me too. Today we're talking about English at work, but not the boring textbook stuff. We're talking about real conversations that happen every single day in offices around the world.
Exactly. Whether you're working in construction, tech, finance, or any industry, you need to communicate clearly with your team.
And we know it can be scary, right, Sophie? Especially when English isn't your first language.
Absolutely. I remember my first job in an English-speaking company. I was so nervous, but you know what? You don't need perfect grammar. You need confidence and the right phrases.
That's what we're here for. But before we dive in, we have a small request for our amazing listeners.
Yes, if you're enjoying this podcast, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps us reach more English learners like you.
And don't forget to click the like button and share this episode with your friends, coworkers, or anyone who's learning English for work.
We also love reading your comments, so tell us, where are you listening from, and what's your biggest challenge with English at work?
All right, let's get started. Sophie, when I think about work, the first thing is always the morning. You walk into the office, what do you say?
Great question. Most textbooks teach good morning, how are you? But in real life, native speakers are much more casual.
Right. We usually say things like morning, or hey, how's it going? Or even just hey.
And here's an important tip. When someone asks, how's it going? Or how are you? They're not expecting a long answer. It's just a greeting.
Exactly. Keep it short and simple. You can say, good, thanks, you. Or pretty good, how about you? Or not bad, busy day ahead.
What if you're actually having a bad day? Can you be honest?
You can, but keep it light. Say something like, I've been better, but I'll survive. Or bit tired, but I'm hanging in there. Don't go into too much detail unless it's a close friend.
Good point. Now let's talk about small talk. This is so important in English-speaking workplaces.
Yes. In many cultures, people just get straight to business. But in the US, UK, Canada, Australia, small talk is part of building relationships.
Safe topics for small talk. The weather, weekend plans, coffee, your commute, sports, or recent holidays.
For example, you can say, did you have a good weekend? Or any plans for the weekend? Or how was your commute this morning? Traffic was crazy today.
Or even, did you watch the game last night if you know your coworker likes sports?
But Sophie, what topics should we avoid in small talk?
Great question. Avoid religion, politics, how much money you make, someone's age or weight, and anything too personal when you don't know someone well.
Especially politics. Even if everyone seems friendly, work is not the place for political debates.
Absolutely. Keep it light, keep it friendly. Okay, moving on to another huge part of work communication, emails.
Ah, yes, emails. I probably write 20 emails a day. Sophie, what's the biggest mistake you see people make with work emails?
Being too formal or too casual. You need to match your company culture. Some companies are very relaxed, others are more formal.
Let's start with greetings. If you're emailing someone for the first time and it's formal, use Dear Mr. Smith or Dear Dr. Johnson.
But after the first email, you can usually switch to Hi John or just John. Never use Dear Sir or Madam if you know their name. It sounds very old-fashioned.
And please avoid to whom it may concern, unless it's a super formal letter to an organization.
Now let's talk about useful email phrases. These will save your life. Ready?
Ready. First one. I hope this email finds you well. This is a polite, formal opening.
I'm reaching out regarding. This is a professional way to introduce your topic.
Just wanted to follow up on. Use this when you're checking on something you discussed before.
Could you please send me, or would you be able to? These are polite ways to make requests.
Thanks for getting back to me. Use this when someone replies to your email.
Please let me know if you have any questions. This is a helpful closing phrase that shows you're available.
I'll keep you updated, or I'll keep you posted. This means you'll give them information as things develop.
And for ending emails, the most common are best regards, best, thanks, or kind regards.
Avoid yours sincerely or yours faithfully unless it's extremely formal. They sound outdated in most modern workplaces.
Great! Now let's move to something that makes a lot of people nervous. Meetings.
Oh boy, meetings. Sophie, I know you had an awkward moment in a meeting once. Want to share?
Sure. I was in a video call with our international team, and my boss asked me a direct question. My mind went completely blank. I was so worried about my grammar that I couldn't think.
What did you do?
I said, "That's a great question. Give me just a second to gather my thoughts." And I took a breath and then I answered.
Perfect. That's exactly what you should do. Here are some phrases to buy yourself time when you need to think.
That's an interesting question. Let me think about that for a moment.
I need a second to organize my thoughts on this.
Could I get back to you on that after the meeting?
Let me pull up that information and I'll circle back to you.
These phrases are gold. They make you sound professional and thoughtful, not confused.
Now, what if someone is speaking too fast or you didn't understand something? Don't be afraid to ask.
Right. You can say, "Sorry, could you repeat that?" Or, "I didn't quite catch that. Could you say it again?"
Just to clarify, are you saying, "This is great" when you want to make sure you understood correctly?
Could you break that down for me? Use this when something is too complex.
Can you elaborate on that? This means you want more details or explanation.
Remember, asking questions doesn't make you look stupid. It makes you look engaged and careful.
Absolutely. Now, what if you want to jump into the conversation and share your idea?
Use these polite phrases. "If I could add something here," or "Can I offer a thought on this?"
Building on what Sarah said, this shows you are listening and want to add to the discussion.
"I'd like to suggest," or "Here's another perspective."
And here's something really important. It's completely okay to say, "I don't know."
Yes, but add this. "I don't know, but I'll find out and get back to you by end of day."
That's professional. It shows you're honest and reliable, much better than making something up.
Now let's talk about some common workplace vocabulary. These are words and phrases you'll hear all the time.
Deadline. This is the date when something must be finished. What's the deadline for this project?
Touch base means to have a quick meeting or check-in. Let's touch base tomorrow about the presentation.
Circle back means we'll discuss this again later. Let's circle back to this next week.
Loop someone in, to include someone in an email conversation or discussion. Can you loop Maria in on this email?
FYI, for your information. You'll see this in emails when someone is sharing information but doesn't need a response.
ETA, estimated time of arrival, used for deadlines. What's the ETA on that report?
Action items, tasks that need to be done after a meeting. What are our action items from today's discussion?
Bandwidth, your capacity to take on more work. I don't have the bandwidth for another project right now.
On my plate, what you're currently working on. I have a lot on my plate this week.
Pushback, to move a deadline later. We need to push back the deadline by 3 days.
These phrases will make you sound like a native speaker. But Sophie, what about difficult situations, like when you make a mistake?
Great question. If you make a mistake, own it immediately and offer a solution.
You can say, "I apologize for the error. I'll fix it right away and have it to you by 3 p.m.
That was my mistake. Here's how I'll correct it. Be specific about your solution.
I take full responsibility for this. This shows maturity and professionalism.
What if you need to disagree with someone in a meeting? You can't just say, "You're wrong."
No, never say that. Instead, try these. "I see your point, but have you considered..."
That's an interesting approach. Another option might be,
"I respectfully disagree because..." and then give your reasons calmly.
"I understand where you're coming from, but I think we should also look at..."
The key is to be diplomatic. You're not attacking the person, you're discussing ideas.
Now, what about when you're running late on a project? You can't just wait until the deadline and then say, sorry, I didn't finish.
Right, be proactive. As soon as you realize you're behind, communicate it.
I wanted to give you a heads up that I'm running a bit behind on the project.
I need to push the deadline back by 2 days. Is that workable?
I'm prioritizing this, but I'll need until Friday to complete it.
Always give a new timeline when you ask for an extension. Don't just say, I need more time, without saying how much time.
Exactly. Now let's talk about asking for help. Some people are afraid to ask for help at work, but it's actually a smart thing to do.
You can say, could you help me understand this? Or, I'm stuck on this part. Do you have a moment to walk me through it?
Would you mind taking a look at this? Or can I get your feedback on this?
I'd appreciate your input on, this shows you value their opinion.
Asking for help shows you want to do good work, not that you're incompetent.
True. Now, let's talk about giving updates on your work. Your boss will often ask, how's the project going?
Keep it simple and clear. It's going well. I've completed phase 1 and I'm starting phase 2 today.
We're on track to finish by the deadline.
We're making good progress, but we hit a small roadblock. We're working through it.
If there's a problem, mention it, but also mention the solution. We're a bit behind because we're waiting for the supplier, but I've followed up with them and we should have what we need by Wednesday.
Now here's something cultural that's really important. Indirect communication.
Yes, in many English-speaking workplaces, especially in the US and UK, people don't always say exactly what they mean. They soften criticism.
For example, if your boss says, "This is interesting, but I wonder if we could explore other options," they're actually saying, "I don't like this, do it differently."
If someone says, "This might not work because," they mean this won't work.
Have you considered often means you should do this instead.
That's one way to look at it. Usually means I completely disagree.
It's not being fake, it's about being diplomatic and maintaining good working relationships.
Another cultural thing, eye contact. In some cultures, looking down is respectful, but in English-speaking countries, good eye contact shows confidence and honesty.
Not staring, just comfortable eye contact. It shows you're engaged and trustworthy.
And personal space. Keep about an arm's length away when talking to coworkers. Don't stand too close, it makes people uncomfortable.
Also, handshakes. In business settings, a firm handshake is important. Not too hard, not too soft.
Wow, Sophie, we've covered so much today. Should we do a quick recap?
Yes, let's summarize what we learned. We started with morning greetings and small talk.
We talked about how to be casual and friendly with phrases like "how's it going?" and safe small talk topics like weather and weekend plans.
Then we covered email writing with useful phrases like, "I hope this email finds you well," "just wanted to follow up," and "please let me know if you have any questions."
We discussed how to survive meetings without panicking, including how to buy time to think, how to ask for clarification, and how to politely join the conversation.
We learned common workplace vocabulary like deadline, touch base, circle back, bandwidth, and action items.
We covered difficult situations like admitting mistakes, disagreeing politely, and asking for deadline extensions.
And we finished with cultural communication tips about indirect language, eye contact, and personal space.
The most important lesson, you don't need perfect English. You need clear communication, confidence, and respect.
Communication over perfection. That's our motto.
Here's your homework, everyone. Choose 3 phrases from today's episode and use them at work this week. Just 3. Write them down right now.
And practice them out loud before you go to work tomorrow. Say them to yourself in the mirror, in the car, wherever. The more you practice, the more natural they'll feel when you actually need to use them.
Before we go, we want to hear from you. Leave a comment and tell us what's your funniest or most embarrassing English mistake at work.
We promise we won't judge. We've all been there. Learning a language means making mistakes, and that's okay.
And please share this episode with a friend or coworker who's learning English. You could be helping them avoid an awkward situation.
Hit that like button if you found this helpful and check out our other episodes for more English learning tips.
Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. We really appreciate it.
Remember, every conversation is practice. Every mistake is a lesson. Every day, you're getting better.
Stay confident, keep practicing, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye, everyone.
See you next time.